Kashkari comes out and says, well, we don't know. It's the lack of global understanding from a macro perspective, but also from, money flows. They need a trader on their board or something like that. They don't need an economist. So, I mean, sometimes, and we were kind of chuckling about this yesterday, Roger and I, because sometimes basically you're better off to be quiet than open your mouth and show how little you know. And it doesn't give you warm, fuzzy feelings about the Fed when you have these Fed heads coming out and saying the same thing. We don't know why yields are up this high. Okay. So, okay, whatever. Let's do it. All right, out of Germany, final inflation rate, no changes there. CPI out of Germany, 117.8, nothing there. Harmonized, nothing there, nothing there. Machine tool orders out of Japan, better than expected. Vehicle sales out of China, a little bit softer. I don't care about Turkey. I have to reset this thing. Bowman spoke early this morning, right? Bund auction, a little bit higher, right? 30-year, right? 767.6. Applications, 170. Anyways, inflation rate out of Brazil is important because of all the commodities there. All right, here we go. PPI expectation 0.4, consensus is 0.3. See what the core looks like. Obviously, ex-food and energy, obviously important. Right, Waller speaking at 10:15. We got an auction, bill auction, and Bostic speaking, and note auction, and then we have the FOMC meeting. So these meetings, don't forget, this is backward looking, and I think it's going to show, to be honest with you, the level of understanding once again as to what's going on domestically and overseas, which is really something that makes you ponder and wonder, why do people actually, they're so long. They quantitative ease for way too long, the quantitative tightening for way too long, and they're still rolling off the balance sheet. They're not going to do Fed funds, but they're definitely going to keep rolling off the balance sheet. They just don't know. Keep an eye on crude stocks, and then we go from there, right? Here we go, beautiful. And then that, nothing much going on here. Here's our fear and greed index. We got to look at this. Like I said, this is a fantastic, I said, upper teens, 20, whatever, time to buy. And this was the low, like I say, this was the largest exposure I had, to a lot of these leveraged ETFs. I still have a pretty good sized position. And what I've been doing is I've just been adding some hedges to it. Okay, that's it. Because I want to keep it. News, it happened, it's done. I, pretty much have to get out of my PXD now. I mean, it's not going anywhere. Dead money right now. Okay, but this will continue to happen. You have to trust me on this, and I know it's. I've been in the commodity market, God, 4 decades, right? This is my 5th decade into the commodity market. Okay, well, 4.5 decades. Anyways, oil is all about these companies. It's greed. They don't give a damn. All they want to do is pay off their investors, divvies, whatever it takes to grow. That's it. Pay off, whether it's stock buybacks, mergers and acquisitions, it doesn't matter. It's always about paying the investor when it comes to this one particular sector. That's all they care about, right? And that's how it's set up to be, right? And I think we're going to actually see some more of this mergers and acquisitions going on in that, okay? Flies, yada, yada. Watch the transports. Okay, here's the Birkenstock. I love Birkenstocks. Anyways, we move forward. All right, yesterday, I love this. Why? Because of the breadth of what we saw. It's been a long time since we saw this kind of breadth in the market. I mean, really fantastic breadth in the market. I love it. Let's see what happens. PPI, yada, yada. This is, ridiculous. They can double down, they can triple down, they can quadruple down. They will look like idiots, absolutely stunningly idiots. Because in order to get us to 2%, let's talk this through realistically. In order to get to 2%, you have to be quantitative easing. Think about it. How did we get there? Quantitative easing. We've been quantitative easing since 2008. Now we're starting to tighten. Okay? Think about it. Right? The only way you get to 2% you'd have to be in a deep recession plus quantitative easing. That's the only way you get there. Or a deflationary cycle. How the hell are we going to get into a deflationary cycle? This is what I don't understand. I just do not understand. Okay? And this is just from a macroeconomic viewpoint. If you go and you do your research and you think about it, I've lived through almost 20% interest rates. Okay? I've lived through a lot of stuff. This is a false narrative that was presented by the financial crisis of 2008. Okay? That's it. All right, we have to talk about this. To the generation who does not understand what's going on in Israel and just look at it from a face value, okay, i.e., those in college right now, it looks horrific, and they are literally blaming Israel, okay? This is the problem when there's lack of history being taught. Kids today, into their 30s, well into their 30s, have no knowledge of history, okay? And this is where you get into trouble when you don't have any knowledge of history as to what's going on. The lack of history is stunning, because you repeat the sins of your father if you don't know what the hell the sins of your fathers were, right? Anyways, so the reason why I point this out is this. They did a survey out of Harvard, okay, that basically the vast majority of those attending Harvard right now basically blame Israel for the heinous acts, what they're doing to Hamas, okay? This tells you the lack of understanding of what's going on, okay? And this has always been a horrific situation with Israel and Hamas. And the problem has always been the few devastating the many in terms of the Palestinian people. These are good people who basically have been under the boot of the Hamas. And it matters what's going on. It matters, right? Because of the global optics, whatever. And Israel doesn't care. You know, they really don't care. But it's a slippery slope right now, right? Israel will do whatever they need to do for self-preservation, the same way any country would do, right? Now, this is what has to start happening as far as I'm concerned. This underperformance of the NASDAQ composite has to start catching up. When you've got the lowly Russell at 33.7 and you've got the NASDAQ at 29.5, seriously, this has to be a catch-up trade for us to break all-time highs and to make that FOMO push to the end of the year, right? I'm just, talking out loud, right? Okay. Walter, what you got? Putin, Russia will continue connecting its pipeline system in East and Western Germany. Russia either could reach 8,000 by standard, whatever. You can say whatever you want to say. Okay, don't care. All right, so he's basically saying, oh, look at us. We bought here. Well, no duh. Twins and I basically are buying there too. Okay, so, and we don't have your model. So I'm just saying, whatever. This is really cool. Look at this. This just came out. This is the percentage these companies spend in R&D of their revenue. Meta, top of the food chain. Then NVIDIA, right? So as far as I'm concerned, these guys get special notice here. Twinsy, are you looking at this? Okay. And then after that, you've basically got 15% is ASML. Seriously, right? Isn't that super cool? So basically, I just think that, and Tesla's only at 4%. I don't know. What do you think? I think that's pretty cool. That's what I think. All right, this is Corbin. We know what employees want, what employees offer. Okay. All right. So 93% of employees want paid time off. It's offered by 79%. Retirement benefits, 87%. Do you see this? 54% of employers offer retirement benefits. Flexible work schedule, right? Mental health benefits. This is a big deal, okay? This is a crisis we're in, and this is just, everyone has problems, issues at some point in their life. Some of them remain. Only 5% of the employers offer mental health benefits. How is that even possible? Paid family leave, okay? I'm just saying, professional development, whatever, but this is important stuff. What retail investors are focusing on. Divvies. There you go. That's it. Money markets, divvies, whatever. Right? I agree, 100%. Oh, there's a chart I have to show you on that, actually. Why do you see this? Twinsy. I don't think, look, is not ruling out sanctions against Iran. Look, I have to tell you this, okay, that you're better served not listening to any of these talking heads. I don't care who they are, right? Whether it's Tom Lee, everybody has a bias one way or the other. The only person I listen to, the only person I pay attention to, right, is Warren Buffett. That's the only person, right? Okay, it's the only person. And it piques my interest. Okay, I want to see what he's buying and stuff like that. I don't care about anyone else. We have the same, we have a better statistical probability of being right than these other talking heads are. Just saying. And I know people listen to it, but these are the same people, right? That put a lot of investors in 40-60, right? Value and bonds, because the sky was falling, we're going into a recession, and yada, 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 right? It's the economy, stupid. When 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, you better come back and say, well, we don't know, okay? And they didn't. So anyways, look at this. CTA position in equities. Well, that tell you. This is billions. So we've got, okay, what do we have? We have a lot of people short still, right? Remember Keynesian Theory 101, you never pick a top in a bull market. You will have drawdowns, okay, within a bull market, but then it becomes watching EMA, weekly support, whatever you look at, okay? And I look at the 10 and 50 EMA supports, and they all held. Those that did not, I trimmed by half. And if they continue, then I trim another quarter. And then I have basically just a 0.5% position on an app if I still like the company, okay? I'm just saying, okay, if the market starts to rip and the question is, how happy are you with a 5% yield when the market's going up like, 10, 15%? And unfortunately, the retail getting into the market is probably the tail end of what we're going to be seeing, that FOMO chase. It kind of like, all right, so a great example is looking at Lilly. Okay, Lilly, I added back in. Why did I add it back in? Because number one, I think that I see 620, 640 probably by year end. I don't know if that's going to be reality, but anyways, everybody scoffed at me when I shouted that out a while ago. Okay. It held the 10 EMA on the weekly, which was really strong considering a lot of them reverted back to the mean and went to the 50 EMA. So you just have to know, put your head down, just do what you do. Saved almost $10 billion this year through record purchases of oil from countries under Western sanctions. Like I say, you put a sanction on, guys, you really think that it works, that there's no way around it? Seriously, how delusional are you? I'm just saying, how delusional are you? Small miracles. All right, so this is the problem. I think we get a bounce, and I've told you that in the small caps, of an extension, multi-month, yearly support levels. Either it works or it doesn't work, right? The thing is, there's no recession, okay? Now, this is a function of 2020, right? And that's how powerful it is. So basically, the narrative is we really can't get in theory, this is in theory, you can't really get a rally in the small caps unless we go into recession. And I say horse hockey. That's what I say is horse hockey. All right, we know this. Okay, this has to change. I think it is starting to change. Like I say, one day doesn't make a trend, but we start to see breath, and I love breath. Okay, so yesterday we saw breath. We saw some breath on Friday. Let's see if this starts to pick up. I want to see. And this is a function, and this is why I basically pounded the table, and I got a lot of pushback. Yeah, you got it, twins. And you have to understand this. This is how I think. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I share with how I think. If you're gonna buy anything, you're gonna have to buy a high beta with growth or has tons of cash. That's it. I don't care whether you're a hedge fund. I don't care whether what you are. If you're going to put any equity on your books, that's what it has to be. And that's why I loaded up on the Max 7. I loaded up on HIBL. I loaded up on FNGU last week because that was the only path forward in my mind. Okay. And I don't care. All of these guys who are in cash now for year end, what do you think they're doing? As the market rallies, what do you think they're doing? Okay. Underperformance is underperformance. If you're happy with whatever you think is, but as the S&P continues to go up, the NASDAQ continues to go up, and you're in cash, guess what? Not a good feel or look, right? This is just common sense. And this is why this room is so amazingly fantastic, is because you've got strong opinions that nobody's afraid to share, right? And basically, you decide what works. But if Spartan says he's bullish, and Twins and I say we see the same thing, statistical probability is pretty damn high we're going to be right about this, okay? Where are we on it? I bought some of those 750s for also Leo. Ooh, it's working. I may be done for the day, guys. Anyways, this is why do not listen to anyone. Do your own homework. If it makes sense to you, if it resonates, then do it. This is your money, not my money. I can do what I do what I do, but I share with you. I am so transparent. Twins and I are so transparent. We write down everything we do. Okay? You see the transparency. People in this room who are great traders, they tell us what they're doing. Okay? They physically write it down for everybody to know what they're doing. Okay? And trust me, it's not as though I'm not busy. Okay, but I think it's important, right, that you see what we're doing so there is accountability, right? $8 already? Okay. See what I'm saying? Inflation won't slow as much. It can't. Whatever. Bite me. Right? And this is for all of you new members. Don't be controlled. There's so much information that goes in this room. You basically do what works for you, right? You basically at the end of the day, and you say to yourself, okay, what worked? What didn't work? What traits did I follow? What traits did I do? What worked and what didn't work? All I can tell you, for those of you who are new to the room, you better really start learning technical trading, okay, the charts. It takes hundreds of hours, okay, of just doing lines, looking at the past, looking at whatever, whether it's daily, weekly, hourly, whether it's intraday. I use 13 EMAs. I use all fibs. Okay, I use 3-minute. I use 13-minute charts, right? You have to know what you're doing so that it slows things down for you, okay? And I think that's important, especially for those, who are new to the market, okay? ECB's recent yield rise is a U.S. spillover, right? ECB's, it's premature to discuss rate cuts. Sorry about that. All right. Hola, buenos días. ¿Qué tal?
Muy bien.
Muy bien. What? The gauge, okay, for higher, longer stance. This is a high yield total return. Okay, I think we go higher. Okay, I don't know if any of you followed me on that UTSL. I posted it multiple times saying this is what I was doing on the accumulation. Okay, I was down, now I'm up 10% on that trade. Okay, and I have to wait a little bit because it has to reclaim. If we take out last week's high, then I'll add some more. Okay. Okay. Yeah, but it's interesting, twins. I mean, yeah, it was an article, but we'll see what happens. Like you say, we'll see what happens with Netflix, right? Okay, so this is really interesting. So you had Paul Tudor Jones on yesterday, right? And then there's this discussion of whether anyone in this market, in today's market, can accrue wealth, right? Well, we have shown day in and day out in this room that you can't accrue wealth, right? Israel Hamas war lie about this. Look, I don't know. Will phone screen scratches and cracks soon be a thing of the past? I don't know. Consumers in China have started to spend more money, but they still maintain a cautious attitude, right? No shock and awe yet, guys. I'm waiting for it. Exxon, we know. Strip will have a new mega resort opening in December. I know, I saw it when I was there. HP Investor Day shows capital return plans are key to investor base, no doubt. Disney rises as company now. This is usurious at this point in time. You're better off cutting your freaking ass prices and get more people going than continuing to raise your prices, which are crazy town. Okay, I've been going to Disney for 25 years now. Okay, because it's the mecca for my children who are, who are special needs, right? I don't go anymore. I go one time, that's it. I used to go for a week. They had these non-expiration things. Okay, it would cost me $50. Okay, the price of food, everything, crazy. And I can afford it, right? But I'm not going to do it because it's usurious. There are people who can't afford it, spend years of savings to go to this place. Now, for little girls, it's wonderful. 4 billion solar notes. That's interesting. Open TAC, U.S. Incentive funds to hydrogen hubs this week. Yeah, but did they announce who's going to get it, Leo, yet? Look, Blink isn't on the list. All right, the ones that's on the list is EQT, Mansion wants that, Plug is on the list. Amazon's on the list because the consortium out of California. But anyways, whatever. Okay, yeah. Did it come out as 8:30? So Plug out a webcast. Okay, they have a webcast. No, they don't. So if you look at this and you read the article, it tells you who's on it, right? Plug, EQT, Amazon, PPW. Blink is not, but it's coming along with that. But anyways, you know, I'm just saying with this hydrogen, this is a big deal if they get this contract, obviously. And 25% short. Leo, God bless you. I have to tell you, I followed you. Look, Leo, I follow a lot of what Leo does, and I always basically post that he gave me this trade. This dude, I love you, okay? Because I love how you think. I love the names you follow. And, you know, we'll see, right? All right, we'll see what happens here. A couple more minutes. Beijing tells China's poor that help is coming via wider social security. This is why Xi is in so much trouble with the old guard, who basically are Maoists, communists, okay? Because Xi is actually not he's all about money. Okay, so you have your leader who is at odds with the old guard in terms of we the people sort of stuff. So Xi is pivoting and has to pivot. Okay, these guys have to pivot because this is the shock and awe that has to come, where it comes down to the poor, quantitative easing. We'll see what happens. I don't know. So he's celebrating his Belt and Road Initiative while basically China's poor are left to kick to the curb. Not a good look. All right, so what's going on here? We continue to see an increase on these cuts. So we're now up to, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cuts into, by the end of next year. I don't see how that happens. I just don't. What happened yesterday? Meta 3.1, Tesla 2.1, Pepsi 1.6. A-shares I'm not. And I tried A-shares. I'm not doing it. Okay, so yesterday, let's see what's going on here. Tesla 15 million, 52 orders. That's really nice prints. Okay, SPY hedging, right? Little hedge going on in Tesla. Qs, Meta, we saw that one. AMD stuff, things. But this is so light, friends, just really light. Okay, almost time. Yesterday, Unfree posted 225,000, October 4th, 5th. It reported on the 10th. Okay, whatever. And this is very typical this time of year, right? That you would see people paying themselves, right? Workday, right? Whether it's lockup with options, whatever, it's just selling, it doesn't matter, crowd. Okay, this is what you would expect. Okay, so let's take a peek here. Okay. We'll know right away what the market does. Like I said, I don't think it's that big a deal, but we'll probably have a little bit of a pullback and then we'll see. It would have to be crazy town. All right. But these guys have been wrong, but I don't know. Like I say, I'm not worried about PPI because we know what's going to happen, right? Businesses just raise their prices, right? But then that affects the consumer. That's why I'm more concerned about the consumer. Here we go, 0.45, a little bit hotter than expected. 0.2, excellent as expected. Okay, year over year, 2.2 higher, so it's a hot number. Let's see if the market can hold up here, and then we see what happens. Okay, all right, so that's done. Okay, so let's take a look at seasonality here. Like I say, we'll see if the market holds up or not. Bonds are holding up fine, still green. Okay, so we'll see how that plays out. My P&L is still up nicely for the day, just sitting on my hands right now. Okay, we'll see what happens. ASML. So I wanted to show you, this is why it's really hard for the next, this is the quarter, right? Right. But this is 80%, right? This is what it looks like. Okay. If let's say you lower it to 75%, this is what it looks like. Okay, so this is now, okay? This is going forward, right? And then with each week, the list just continues to grow, okay? So you have to be aware of that. Let's see if the market can bounce here. Market is still green on the day. NVIDIA, MNST, AMD, ASML. Okay, I'm serious about this stuff. It's really hard to be short the semis going into year end. Okay. 2 years only one selling off. Thank you. Okay. Looks like a dip buy. Thank you very much. Let's do it. All right. So I really love this market. I'm just saying that. I just love this market. And Lily doesn't give a damn, right? Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, let's see what happens. As long as the bond market holds up, right? Watch this BGNE also. I've been accumulating this one. Just keep an eye on this one. This is an A++ setup for me. Okay, just keep an eye on that one. I'm just talking. I'm looking what's up for the day in my P&L. So. Bearish and bullish to bullish transitional natural gas. Yeah, well, you know, whatever. There we go. This is what the one. The MACD indicator triggered a buy signal for the S&P. Okay, so what does it mean? Okay. Whoop. Here we are, broad oversold conditions. Okay, S&P after MACD from an oversold condition to an uptrend. This goes back to 1928. So I'm not messing around here, folks. Bullish, 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 bullish. Okay. Now this is 1 month later. 82% statistical probability will be up 2.6%. Well, that we can do that in a day. And then if you go out here 6 months, 7%, and then it does. Okay, seasonality trends for the S&P. No joke. You don't mess with October, November, December with this market if you're in a bull market. What does it mean? Now, buy signal from in an uptrend bull market. Going back to 1932, look at this, 85, 85, 77%, 92% statistical probability, 6 months, 12 months. This is all stats, friends. Okay, it's all about risk reward and statistical probability for me. Put call premium ratio indicator, oversold, right? Now, what happens? The table summarizes the subsequent S&P index performance. Now, the problem with this is 6 months, 1 year. Crazy town, bullish. So this is the problem I have. This is why I don't think we get into a deflationary cycle. And this is why I think we can continue to go higher. And this is why I continue to see the broadening out of the market as a whole, right? Still holding the green. That's all I want to see. It's the 10-year that basically on the hourly came back into 13 MA, bounced right off of it. Really bullish and held yesterday's high, which is really bullish too. Do you see that on the 10-year? It basically came back to yesterday's high, bounced right off of it. That's really bullish, friends. Okay. All right, so this is a problem for me right now. All right, so let's take a peek here. Okay. So this is the optics. This is not what I want to see. I want to see this curl. I want to see this pull back and then pop. That's what I want to see. All of these are curling back a little bit. I want to see them pop. That's what I want to see. All right, reset. Natty gas strongest. You can see here bonds are still low. Okay. All right, 3 days out. Still some green, but obviously utilities, tan. They were buying tan yesterday, nonstop. I know that Spartan, and then if you go farther out, we still have work to be done in terms of resetting this. Okay. VIX is still up here. This is the 10-day. All right, so we have still work to be done. Like I say, this is the sweet spot of the month. From the 11th to the 21st for 10 days, we only have 1 rate day. Okay. And it's just an indicator, but it's positive, right? That's what we care about is positivity. Okay. Watch this. Record short position in China. Keep an eye on that. I don't really have, I'm waiting. It'll come out probably, I don't know when this is going to come out. But anyways, we still see this massive. Now, a lot of this short is a basis trade off of the physical versus the futures. Okay. How much of that is, I don't know. But this is kind of interesting too. The asset manager has been trimming as well. Bonds, let's take a look. Here we go. 30-year front end. Whoop, whoop. Canada down, everybody's down. Look at all these yield funds. This is really something. So basically they came out after quarter three delivery numbers, 5 big analyst picks. Anyway, so sorry about that. Everybody is coming out and saying, hey, look, it's the United States, it's not us. It's the United States, not us. Big bad us. 2.5 doesn't matter, looks fine. Here's the 5.10, still holding up fine. Like I say, guys, when you have a 0.5% move in the bond market and you've got trillions of dollars in your portfolio, I mean, these are big positions. These swings are crazy town, right? 3-month, 10-year. Okay, let's keep an eye on this one, right? Because I really do want this to hold here and start to climb up more. All right, let's bring up the 10-year, as I like to do. Where's my futures? Okay. All right, so we got a little bit of a double top. We basically, this 111.24. So the first pivot was 110.20, right? So this is the next big hurdle we have to do, right? So let's look at it from an hourly, right? Okay. Right? So this is yesterday, right? Okay. All right. As long as we hold this breakout pivot, and you can see this consolidation on the hourly, right? You can see that. This is how I process pivots. I do, you know, these range things. This is how I view things in the world. You have this consolidation pop, okay? We pull back on the flag into, this is the 10 EMA on the hourly, 111.11 and a half, and it's holding it. And you can see it's holding this flag, bottom end of the flag breakout as well, okay? So this is all bullish, okay? So we'll see how this plays out, okay? The key point is this pivot right here. So 111.03, that's what I'm looking at right now. If that starts to pull back some more, then I'll probably buy some hedges on the market. Okay, that's what I'm looking at right now. All right, China. Their yields, they reclaimed the 78.6%. Germany, yeah, a little bit of a double top. Like I said, this was more a function of our markets than their market. So we know that, right? Dollar, I don't care. I'm buying dollar. I'm shorting the US dollar. I'm not buying dollar. Okay, and that's a 5 to 10 year trade. And I've told them all the members this 5 to 10 years out. When I do this sort of stuff, guys, I'm not doing daily, weekly, monthly. Okay, I accumulate. I still have a very small position. This will, like I say, this will probably end up being a 2-3% position on a leverage side. So that's going to be more than that. Okay, just so you know. Right? So, anyways, cryptos. Okay, whatever. Commodities. Let's take a peek. All right, so we got gold, silver up, right? We've got all these down. We got natty gas down slightly. Like I say, I've trimmed a lot of natty gas. Okay, so I've only got a half a position. Crude's coming in. I still have my SCO, but I'm not weighted on the drip side. Okay, so I'm in the physical SCO, physical. Okay, still, but I don't have a big position on that either. Okay, FYI. Okay, wide has to reclaim the 10 EMA and the weekly. and that is 1860. All right, so if you look at this as a preponderance, it's probably 20% versus 80% down. Okay. Not what you would expect, right? DBA. I'm still.
Where's Spartan?
I don't know.
I'm right here. I'm gonna pop on in just a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's been coming in later, South Beach.
I got it. I didn't know.
DBC. I'm on until he pops on. That's what it is. So anyways, DBC, I haven't done anything. I got other stuff on right now. Net a guess. Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, so fantabulous trade for us. Why am I trimming back? Okay, because I got this 341 in the high one.
Ready to pop on here.
Okay.
All right, guys, what's going on? Let me just pop up the screen share here. I was just kidding. For some reason, I couldn't find one name I couldn't find the news on, but just gapping down. I'll show you in a second. Anyways, if you guys are new to chat or have you done something, you should click on that Discord link that's emailed to you. Pop in the chat, look something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do come in, click on the disclaimer section, give that a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section, scroll to the very, very top here, top of the section, see a link to the disclaimers, as well as boulder risk reward section. Super important to understand both. In regards to risk reward, guys, most important ratio in trading, so definitely worth checking out there. Continue to scroll down. We're going to see the summary of how this chat works, breaks all the channels work on the left-hand side, so you can probably navigate the chat throughout the day. It is important in order to be looking. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts on the options and equity side, breaking down how to read alerts on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Continue to scroll down there. We have options rules that we like to use Monday to Thursday in regards to the options ideas. So definitely worth checking out there if you can be following along on those options ideas. Below that, the SPX rules that we use every single day for the SPX ideas. So definitely worth checking out that. Continue to scroll down. And with a small account, less than 10K, break it down. If you do a smaller account, less than 10K, here's some rules, information, discipline you can put in place so you can better manage that account. Below that, how to pick ideas from an options director perspective. Lastly, high conviction small account trades, post in that area when they do make sense. Let's take a look at what we got going on today, guys. A couple different things. So what do we got today? Pre-market tickers on watch. Tesla, NVIDIA, NVO, DVA, RRH, and then TPST.RH. I can find news on it. But anyways, Tesla gapping up in sympathy with the market. Same with NVIDIA and NVO. Neurodisc, Leap as Ozempic shows promising kidney patient treatment. I mean, this thing can do everything, apparently, eh? DVA shares of dialysis provider drop after Ozempic early kidney trial success. So, gapping down to sympathy, RRH gapping down. TPST analysis result from its phase 1b2 study from TPST 1120, which is in treatment with patients with unresectable or metastatic hepatocellular carcinoma, I guess. Gapping up on that, basically, and that name came from like 25 cents. It's pretty impressive move on that. All right, let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. So first two, Tesla and NVIDIA. Ooh. Let's rip through these charts. All right, so Tesla, guys, a little bit of a gap up, obviously from last day's pullback, but still looking great on the daily chart. I mean, fantastic flag set up for continuation. Let's get these levels right there. Recent range. Perfect. Pivot 266.44 level holds, 269.08, 273.14. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback to 262.57. 256.43 downside leading bullish, neutral, looking for a continuation push to the upside today, in my opinion, if that pivot point is able to hold. So that's Tesla. Let's take a look at NVIDIA here. So NVIDIA, a little bit of a gap up as well. I think the semiconductor is definitely worth watching. Again, I love the look of NVIDIA if we can get going. It's got a quite a nice daily chart. I guess the resistance levels are a little bit tight. But, we'll keep an eye on it. So pivot to the upside today, guys, in NVIDIA. Going to be this level right here. In my opinion, for 59.24 levels, able to hold 464.67, 470.10. Unable to hold, we look for pullback towards 452.98, 447.62 downside, leading a bullish, neutral, looking for a continuation push higher if the pivot point's able to hold. So that's NVIDIA. That is Tesla. Screenshot this, go on to the next. All right, next two names, guys. What are we looking at? NVO, DVA. All right. NVO, guys, pivot to the upside today, and this is actually a pretty decent looking chart. Kind of sporadic, but 96.42 pivot level hold to get room back towards 98.11 at 101.04. Unable to hold 95.03, 93.22 on the downside, leading bullish. In my opinion, up the gate, looking for a continuation pop, and then we can see whether or not it wants to hold up. DVA, gapping down. I think you're probably get a little bit of a bounce in this, but we'll see. Okay. So DVA gapping down, and I think we might want to be. Oh, that's good. We don't have to go to daily. 76.44 pivot to the downside today, unable to hold. We got room towards the 73.05, 76.55, able to hold 79.27. Sorry, 79.57 to 82.39. Keep leaning bearish out the gate, and then I do think we'll see some basing at the lower end range support levels. 69.55 would be ideal, I think, for a bounce. My opinion there. So we'll see what happens in that regard. So that is NVO, that is DVA. Okay, let's take a look at the next two guys. We got RRH and we got TPST. Bet you this paid like a dividend or something. Find it. Yeah. So what I think I'm going to do with this one is I think I'll just switch it over to another small name. This ACAQ. I'll get the news on it after, but a little bit more interesting. There we go. It's ACAQ. Pivot to the upside today, going to be this level right here. 852, level holds 958. 1081, unable to hold. We look for a pullback towards 731 to 543 downside, leaning a bullish neutral at the gate, looking for a little bit of a pop. And I bet you we'll see a little bit of topping after the morning session. So that is ACAQ. Let's take a look at this TPST. This thing's in kind of beast mode off the lows. Looks beautiful, actually, for continuation. Love these types of names. Let's get that pivot. All right, let's take a look at this thing today. So pivot 104, level holds 126, 151, 172 above that. Unable to hold 71 cents to 51 downside, leaning bullish out the gate. Looking for a continuation push higher. The volume's pretty good. It's kind of picking up a little bit here in the pre-market. So thinking we can get a little bit more continuation, and then we can see what happens after that. That's ACAQ, that's TPST. All right, let's take a look at the spine thing. SPY 434.15 pivot level holds 437, 892 to 441.64. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback towards 431.34 to 428.40 downside, leaning bullish. Looking for a continuation push higher today if that pivot point is able to hold. So that's the market looking pretty good here for continuation higher. 50 EMA is obviously going to be the key level to get through today, guys. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I don't know if I marked it. I don't think I did. 437.04. I'm going to mark it right now. Well, that's good enough. 437.03. Okay. And keep it right there at 437. That's fine. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the thing here. We get through that 50 EMA today, guys. 438.30 area on the SPYs where I think we get to, which is that gap fill area on the daily. It's a squeeze potential, right? So we'll see. All right, pivot on the Apple 179.77 level holds 182.24, 183.30. Unable to hold. We look for a pullback towards the 176.83 to 173.90 on the downside, leaning on the bullish neutral side only if we can get above the pivot. So we'll see what happens there. It's below that resistance level for now, but don't mind the look. Amazon, which Amazon actually started to look a little bit better yesterday after its move. It's kind of looking like it was stuck below that range, but did reclaim this range break area, which I was impressed with. 130.71 pivot level holds, 131.73. Get above there, you do have a room. 135.43 unable to hold. 128.96 to 127.01 on the downside. So see what happens there. Leaning bullish neutral on it for now. That's Amazon. Let's take a look at Netflix. Netflix 376.90 levels able to hold. 382.40, 387.86 unable to hold. 369.49 to 365. 53 on the downside, leaning bullish neutral. If we can get above that pivot point. Actually, I'll be leaning bearish neutral on this because it got rejected at EMA support on the daily. So take that back. Leaning bearish neutral. If we can't get above the pivot, we should see continuation lower, in my opinion there. Let's take a look at Meta. Oh yeah, love this chart. Check out that daily, guys. Now, the only thing I don't like about it is short-term extension to the upside. Okay, so one thing I'll be leaning is probably bearish short-term. Gap fill 369. That's actually quite a bit of room. Okay, pivot 320.75, leaning bullish neutral only if that pivot holds today. If it doesn't, we should see continuation back to 316.49, 310.33. So we'll see what happens in that regard, but I will be leaning bullish only if that pivot can hold today. So we'll see really quickly out the gate what it wants to do. And then let's take a look at Google. Get all those ranges, and then I will look at one level to the upside too. Kind of missed it. There we go. All right, Google pivot upside today is going to be the 138.23 level holds, 139.55, 140.88, unable to hold, 136.37. 135.06, leaning bullish neutral only if pivot can hold. So a lot of pivots are super important today. So we'll see what happens in that regard. So that's a SPY, it's a FANG. Those are the individual names that we're looking at today, guys. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to South Beach while I type this pre-market action plan up, and then we'll do a quick little recap before the open. South Beach, if you're ready, she's all yours for now, my friend.
All right, good morning, guys. All right, so Let's see what we have today. All right, first off, we had those PPI numbers, right? And they came in worse than expectations, right? By and large. Month over month, 0.5 versus 0.3, year over year, 0.2, 2.2 versus 1.6. And the core was higher as well, 3.3 versus 0.2, and year over year, 2.7 versus 2.3. So what's the market telling us? They don't give a shit, right? They could care less. And they're telling you that they think this is the last of the bad numbers. That's what I see, right? Because you got the yields down on the long end of the curve. And I'll tell you something, if the 10-year breaks 450, it looks to me like, it could look like a blow off top on yields on the 10-year. I mean, that's the way it looks to me. So that's very bullish, right? The short end is holding up. That makes sense, right? So what we had recently, right? The short end kind of stayed the same and the long end was rallying. Yields were getting a lot higher. Now they're reversing that. They had a couple of bad numbers. We had a bevy of bad news. We had the Israeli thing, right? We had these numbers, and the market doesn't give a damn. So it seems to me like things have changed. Now let's look at the charts, all right? The SPY chart. It hit that 50-day moving average on the daily and failed. So we want to see if we can get through that. That's important. On the weekly, it's held support really well. And if it has a good day today, it'll be EMA support pretty much across the whole gamut of moving averages. The Qs, which were the best one of the lot, all right, broke, through the EMA, the 50 EMA on the daily, and it never really looked bad on the weekly. That's the one that's been holding up really well, right? And then you go to the transports, which were held support really well for what, 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row. All right. And now we see if it can move higher. It does have EMA support on the daily, 1017. It has 50 as resistance. And on the weekly, it's been holding. So let's see if it continues. And the one that was really kind of crappy was the Russell, right? And they had, it regained EMA support on the daily. And it still looks pretty shitty on the weekly. But, if you look on, the chart without the moving averages, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. They've been at these levels about 5 times and held. So I'll get to that in a minute, Leo. Great call. All right. So that one, as long as it doesn't break that 1, 2, 3, 5 times support level, it's probably okay. So market is telling you that, what they think. All right. Bad news. They're ignoring. They think that the worst is behind and they're moving forward. Okay. So that's what the market's telling me anyway. Right. It's pretty clear. All right. So that's the bonds, right? Let's see what we got. So we got the 10-year down 0.08. We got that 210 spread at what, 4 or 5 basically, about 43. So that's expanded somewhat, right? But it was contracting because that long end of the curve was rallying hard, and that has reversed. So that's our bond market. If you look over in London, it's pretty quiet there. Their long end of the curve, though, is doing pretty much what ours is, right? Coming in after that rally. And the short end is kind of not doing much. And that holds true with the rest of Europe. Okay, so basically that's the yield curve today. All right, long end, yields coming down, short end holding in there pretty good. All right, let's look at commodities. So we have all that tension in the Middle East, right? And oil's down this morning. So it's below that 90 level, which I'm using as a kind of a resistance level. Support is 80. So right now, what do I see in oil? Kind of a trading range. Natural gas, I think, broke out. We'll see if it can hold, but that's what it looks like to me. And as far as these agricultural commodities, nothing really doing there. Okay, currency-wise, we've had very little movement on the currency front in the last, I'd say, almost a month. All right, basically a whole lot of nothing. The Chinese currency is still trading at 730. The euro is still 105, 106. The pound is still 122, 123. And so not much going on there. Crypto's been a little bit on the quieter side the last week or so. We have Bitcoin down 0.75%. Ethereum is up 0.5%, and that's that. And let's look at the foreign markets, which were really, really quiet. Sorry. Someone was just texting me some nonsense. Let's look at the foreign markets, which were really quiet this morning. Let's see what they are now. Yeah. FTSE's up 0.1, DAX up 0.1, Nikkei was up 0.6, China up 0.2, and Hong Kong up 1% plus, and Taiwan's up 1%. So there's your backdrop, okay? So you have 5 of these Fed governors speaking today. The big call yesterday was out of Bostic, right? He said basically he thinks the Fed's done enough. And so the bond market's kind of reflecting that, right? So that's what's going on with that. China, very little there. Russia, same old, nothing really. Crypto, we discussed Mr. Market yesterday. So we had another pretty positive day in the market, right? Even with all that bad news flying around, no one seems to care. Okay, my stocks look like they want to go higher. And that's what's going on. So what do we have? What was hot? Solar had a really good day. Semis, EV, high PE tech, okay? S&Ps were up 24, NASDAQ about 100, Dow about 100, transport's about 100. Okay, so that was yesterday. All right, let's see what news we have today. We have that PPI today. We have CPI tomorrow. What other news? We got Blinken going to the Middle East tomorrow. And we've got, that's pretty much it. All right. Okay. So let's see what we have here in other stuff. I think the big call was that Bostic thing yesterday, which kind of ignited the market. We see a real increase in demand for adjustable rate mortgages, guys. I guess they're trading at 633 versus a fixed rate mortgage, 10-year 767. So people think rates are going to go down. So people are moving to that. So I think that's kind of interesting. The other interesting news was this Exxon deal with PXD. I can't tell you how many calls I got over the weekend from friends saying, should I buy PXD and play this deal? And I didn't think the risk reward made sense. And now you're seeing it doesn't make sense. Exxon down a bunch. It is a complete stock transaction, right? So you get, 2.3234 shares of Exxon for every PXD. And I don't think this will be a regulatory issue. No one's discussed it, raised any talk about it. There are a lot of competition. And so, look, if, you never know with this particular administration, but if I'm a betting man, I'm going to say there shouldn't be any regulatory issues. So if you want to figure out how to play this, you just 2.324 by times the price of Exxon, and you can see the spread this morning. I think it was 9. Now it's trading at 106.94 times 2.3234. So one second, guys. I got to take my shoes off. Okay, there it is. So it's 248 you would get if you shorted Exxon and bought PXD. You'd make currently there's 8 points in more or less in profit in this thing. Then if you short Exxon, you see if there's a dividend, if you get a dividend in PXD, and et cetera, et cetera. So there's a little bit of money. How long is this deal going to take? I don't know. It shouldn't be too long. Ballpark, 4 months. Like when you do a deal, the insurance ones take the most because you need every state that you sell insurance in to approve it. This is a little different. So this shouldn't take too long. So that's the deal with that deal. Okay. Congress meeting today to try to pick a speaker. Hopefully they'll get something done. Based on past performance, I would say the odds are no better than 50-50. And we'll see what happens with that. Okay. I mean, they got to change the rules, basically. When a few guys can take down a Speaker of the House on kind of like a whim, you got to be really careful. So hopefully they'll figure it out. Israel's thing is a mess. 300,000 troops on the border, humanitarian mess within the Gaza Strip for those people who have no, energy. And I heard the one utility there is about to run out of fuel, and there's nothing good happening there, guys. So it's kind of a mess. I hope they don't give any guarantees, twins, because this bullshit has to stop. You need continuity. It's just a bad situation. I mean, really awful. So Hezbollah, Hamas, Israel, guys, it's just, you turn on the TV and it's just heartbreaking. And there's no way around it. It's just brings you to tears. Anyway, let's move on. WBA, Walgreens got a new CEO. This guy's pretty good. He ran Express Scripts, so I think that's kind of a positive. Steve Eisman was on TV last night. He said, avoid home builders and consumer finance companies. Jeremy Grantham gave an interview. This guy has been bearish now, no bullshit, 15 years. He's an idiot. Okay. So don't listen to him. Birkenstock is going public. Okay. Priced kind of in the middle. The range was 44.49. The last few IPOs have been nothing special, right? Where's the ARM trading? Is that above 50? It probably is. 55. So this one's pretty decent. The other ones were just All right. So, and after a lull of IPOs, generally good ones come. So to have lackluster performance is not the best indication of what's to come. So this Birkenstock is coming. Company's been around since God was a little boy, and we'll see what happens. LVMH gave guidance, fell to its lowest level of the year. They were basically blaming saying that everything that they garnered during the pandemic, things are returning to normal. And then you have geopolitical uncertainty, economic uncertainty, and that stock got hit on that. A Canadian auto workers reached an agreement with General Motors, and you have that. See. All right, let's look at individual names that we have. Hewlett gave guidance that was decent. Plug gave guidance. We'll talk about Plug in a minute. Very positive there. Stock looked great. Leo, good call, buddy. TPST, new update on a study. It is only phase 1B, so don't get too excited, but that's what's going on there. This Novo Nordisk. So they basically did a study about kidney failure and whatnot, and they say that the Ozempic helps in that particular with that particular outcome, and they stopped the trial for efficacy reasons. So Novo's up, and Lilly is flying on that news. It seems to me, guys, that all this disease that comes about because you're overweight, okay, whether it's kidney or what have you, heart disease and whatever, it helps. So it seems to be, there's probably got to be something bad about it, but it seems to me like this is like a cure-all, and it's just incredible. Everybody's going to be taking this drug who's even slightly overweight. So incredible. What can you say? So with that, okay, there's a bunch of stocks that are in the kidney dialysis business. right? You have what, the DaVita, that's a local company, FMS, which is based out of London, but trades here. And you've got Baxter, who's also in the kidney business. They're all getting plugged here. And Novo and Lilly are winning the day, right? So you got the PXD deal. So the ARBs right now are putting this thing on in pretty good size, I would imagine. This is kind of like right in their wheelhouse. So they're buying this PXD and they're shorting Exxon and putting, 9 points, not too bad for, I don't know, 9 points over. They have a different cost of carry and everything than you guys do, because when they short a stock, they get what's called interest rebate. So their cost of carry is not terrible. It's only the difference between the two spreads, the long and the short side. So, which isn't so great. So for these guys, they're going to make probably 8 points over a period of 4 months on a what is it, $200. That's not bad in this environment. So these guys are putting this on in big size. Okay, for sure. What else do you have today? Boeing got an upgrade. Kava got an upgrade at Morgan Stanley. Boeing was at UBS. Then you have momentum stocks, WHLR, CNXA. That's really it. On the short side, this Silk is the disaster du jour. Pre-announced third quarter. LXFR wasn't good either. We talked about those kidney stocks down. Exxon is down on the deal. Ali's CEO is retiring. NOG is doing an offering. You know about the deal for Birkenstock. Okay, what am I looking at this morning? On the long side, plug. Okay, number one, they said that they're going to do what, 6 billion in 2027, 30 billion in 2030. So that's an incredible growth rate, right? Number one. I just used a 4% after-tax margin, okay, to look at it. And they would make, I think, 1.2 billion, right? The stock has a market cap of 4.3 billion. And they're growing. So they should have a better than a market PE. So you put any PE you want on it, north of 16. So if they make 1.2 billion and you want to give them a 16 PE, the stock can go up a lot. Okay, so that's one I'm looking at on the long side. I'm looking at Boeing on the long side because even Boeing can't fuck up the fact that there's only two players in this game. Okay, so I kind of like Boeing. It looks like it's down a lot, and it's probably a good time to get involved. There's a nice research call on Caesars. I think that's an interesting call. I think Vegas is recession resistant, if there is one. I don't know if there'll be one or not, but I kind of like the stock. 80 target over at Stifel. Stock's 46. I thought that's interesting. And VFS, a stock that's gotten murdered, has nice pre-market volume. Okay, so that's on my radar. On the short side of my radar, we have the EQT on a hard sell initiation. Okay, we have Riot and Mara, negative out of JP Morgan. And I think the Netflix news last night about their advertising was kind of crappy, and I'm looking at that on the short side too. So those are my names that I'm focusing on today. I know some of you guys like me to do that, so I'll start doing that. And I'm out of time, so I'm going to pass it over to Spartan.
All right, Big Zell Beach, guys. Morning, what's going on? Let's take a look at what we got going on today. A couple things. There we go. Okay, so if you guys new to chat, already done so, make sure to click on that Discord link that's emailed to you. You can pop in a chat, look something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do come in, click on that disclaimer section, give it a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section, scrolls at the very, very top of the section. You got a link to the disclaimer, as well as this. Oh, wow, nice pop on TPST. Allows this bolded risk reward section. Super important to understand what risk reward, guys, before you start trading. So definitely worth checking out that area, in my opinion. Continue to scroll down. Summary of how this chat works, breaks all the channels, work on the left-hand side, so you can properly navigate the chat throughout the day. Important in order to be looking. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts and the options and equity side, breaking down how to read alerts on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Below that, options rules that would like to use Monday to Thursday in regards to controlling risk, scaling in, scaling out, trading different price contracts, etc., etc. SPX rules. If we do have the also for the SPX ideas in chat, if you know, follow along there. How to any with a small account less than 10K, breaking down if you do have a smaller account less than 10K. Some rules, information, discipline you can put in place there so you can better grow that account. How to pick ideas from an option directory perspective. And then last but not least, high conviction small account trades. All righty, let's take a look what we got going on today, guys. So a couple different things. Pre-market tickers on watch. Everything's posted there. If you guys are watching the pre-market stream, you can see all the charts. And what I'll do is I'll actually pause it over the so you can actually kind of read the pre-market action plan there. Okay, and then what do we got today? Tesla, Nvidia, NVO, DVA. This should be actually a ACAQ and then TPST. Let me just quickly change that. All right, so Tesla, guys, gapping up and simply with the market. So is the Nvidia. We have the NVO. Leap as Ozempic shows promising kidney patient treatment. DVA shares of dialysis provider of drop of Ozempic earliest kidney disease. So basically, it's dropping because of its Ozempic's early kidney trial success there. ACAQ gapping up. I'm just gonna grab this. There we go. Looks like 3 months. Close the merger. I'll get the news in a little bit. We'll just move on for now. TPST announced the results from its phase 1B study, and it's gapping up on that. Let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. So first two names we're looking at today, guys, NVIDIA and Tesla. Let's have a gander. Tesla, guys. So, you know, continuation to the upside right now looks pretty good. Pivot to the upside today is going to be the 266.44 level holds 269.08, 273.13, unable to hold 262.57 to 256.43 downside leaning bullish neutral there. NVIDIA pivot upside today, guys, is going to be the 458.70, 459.24 level holds 464.67 to 470.10. Unable to hold 452.98, 447.62 downside leaning bullish neutral there. Let's take a look at the next two names, guys. We have the NVO DVA. NVO pivot to the upside today, guys, is going to be the 99.42 level holds 98.11, 101.04, unable to hold 95.03, 93.22 on the downside, leaning bullish neutral there. DVA pivot downside is 76.44, unable to hold 73.05, 69.55, able to hold 79.57 to 82.39 on the upside, going to be leaning on the bearish neutral side there. Let's take a look at ACAQ and TPST. ACAQ 852 pivot level holds 958 to 1081, unable to hold 77.31 to 543 on the downside, leading a bullish neutral. TPST pivot had 104, still is 126, 151. Then we got room towards 183. Let's actually do this. 183, 209, 229, unable to hold 126, 104, 0.71, 0.51 downside. Leaning bullish, of course, out the gate. You know, you kind of got that pre-market pop already, so we'll see whether or not that level hold is able to hold. Let's take a look at the SPY and the FANG here. All right, guys, market. SPY 434.15 pivot to the upside today. My opinion, this level holds room higher into the 437.04 resistance, which is going to be the 50 MA breaks. We see the, I'm going to skip this 437.92 and go to the next level. Actually, no, I'm not. You see the 437.92 to the 438.33 tested, which is going to be the gap fill area. Pivot unable to hold. Room lower into the 431.34 support. breaks, we see the 428.40 tested. Meaning bullish, neutral on that. All right, so that's the SPY. Let's take a look at the rest of the thing here. Apple, pivot to the upside today, going to be the, 179.77 level holds 182.24 to 183.30. Unable to hold 176.83, 173.90. Downside leaning bullish. Neutral pivot's able to stay, or if we're able to reclaim that pivot, I should say. Amazon, same thing. Pivot to the upside today. 130.71 level holds 131.73 to 135.43. Unable to hold. We look for a pullback into the 128.96 to 127.01. Downside leaning up bullish, neutral there. All right, let's take a look at Netflix. Pivot to the upside today, going to be the downside, I should say, sorry, 376.90, unable to hold 369.49, 365.53, unable or able to hold 382.40, 387, 86 upside, leading bearish neutral. Let's take a look at Meta. Pivot to the upside today is 320.75 level holds 326.57, unable to hold 316.49, 310.33. And it's notable that Netflix is extended to the upside today, guys, on the daily. So if it is unable to hold the pivot, it does have some room to pull back into that lower end range support. Let's take a look at Google. There we go. 138.23 level holds 139.55 to 148.8, unable to hold 136.37 to 135.06 on the downside. And then last but not least, guys, let's take a look at the VIX Qs and IWM. So VIX pivot on the downside today. 17, unable to hold 16.31, 15.65, able to hold 17.75, 18.10. We'll see what happens there. QQQ. $369.32 pivot level holds 371.32, 373.31, and able to hold 365.49 to 362.25 on the downside. And then last but not least, SPX. And SPX, I usually have the daily up, so let's do that. Pivot 43.82 level holds 44.01, 44.23, unable to hold 43.55 to 43.30 on the downside. Leaning on the bullish neutral side today if the pivot is able to be held as well, and that's going to be where the 50 MA is. Alrighty, guys. So that's the spot. That's a thing. Those are the individual names that we're looking at. You guys popped into the YouTube stream. Thanks for joining us this morning. Gonna go ahead and cut it off. You can certainly jump into chat, SpartanTrading.com. Come trade with us all day. We stream all day long, and that's about it, my friends. Thanks for popping in. Once that's closed, well, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out.